And good evening. Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. And my special guest tonight is Maryann Castello, who is the host of Liberty Bell Smack and a whole lot more. And we're going to get to know Maryann tonight here on The Way I See It. Maryann, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we're going to talk a little bit about the show Liberty Bell Smack. My first question is, how did you get this Liberty Bell Smack started?
Well, our mutual friend, Mr. Mark Mancini of Mancini Media, we had worked together through the Association of Professional Ball Players of America. So I met him through that. And then we started doing other shows together. We have Barrel Radio as well. And he started up this show in Philly called Liberty Bell Smack and wanted a moderator and a host. And here I am along with Sal Tartaglia. So every week it's Thursday evenings on WWDB AM Talk 860 right out of Philadelphia every Thursday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself, Mark Mancini, and Sal Tartaglia.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I was on the show on Thursday, and I had a great time, and I appreciate you coming on tonight. Tomorrow night, I have Sal coming on. We're not only going to talk about his book, we're going to talk about the Eagles tomorrow night because the Steelers are playing the Eagles this year, and I want to see what the Eagles are up to, as one of the Steelers' opponents. I've been bringing on a lot of guys from other cities that the Steelers are playing to get to know the teams and everything. Also, Maryann, I understand you're in a band called Nectar. How did you get that started?
In Nectar, it's Nectar. It is the legendary rock band. And how that got started is Rich Shalanda, who is the frontman for Nectar. I had known him. And I am also a board certified holistic healthcare practitioner. So I got to meet him through doing that. And I'm also a licensed medical massage therapist. Comes in handy when they're playing and stuff. So I started out when they were making the record, The Other Side. I was helping them cook their food and do everything because they sequestered themselves for 2 weeks while they were writing this album, and got to know them that way and was able to share a voice here and there. And then next thing you know, they were doing a tour, and they were so gracious to ask me to come on tour with them as their background vocalist and working out all of their merchandise as well. So I really enjoyed it.
That's great. We're live here on YouTube and Facebook every Monday night, 7 p.m. Tonight we're in Studio B of 808 Studios, my Studio A. I have some stuff going on in Studio A, so we're in Studio B. Also, I wanted to say we are live on Facebook and YouTube, as you see on the bottom on the ticket tape. Your comments are welcome here as well, anytime during the broadcast. Later on, we're going to be talking a whole lot more about The Way I See It and some other topics we have. We have a really good, phenomenal show for you once again tonight. All right, Maryann, I understand you have a few books you have written over the years. Can you explain those to us?
Yes, I do. The most recent is Road to Success, Volume 2 with Jack Canfield. For those of you who might not be familiar with Jack Canfield, he was the originator of Chicken Soup for the Soul books and that whole conglomeration.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
Yes, and he was absolutely wonderful. He's a wonderful life coach and mentor. And I was one of the 36 authors worldwide selected for the Road to Success Volume 2, and my chapter is called Believe in Yourself, and it was showing my road to success from where I had a very severe medical diagnosis, and I still worked through that and was able to change my life through alternative healing, and then being able to follow your dreams with writing, singing, media, things of that nature. So it's been really a wonderful ride, but with the book, I was very, very successful, and I was so happy to be a part of that project along with the other authors, and so much so it became a best-selling book. It came in the top 20 on the first days of sales on Amazon, and I was inducted into the Academy of Best-Selling Authors and won my Quilly Award that I have over here that I'm so proud of. Went to Hollywood and was able to win the Quilly and became a best-selling
That's great.
Yeah, so I was really excited.
I have another question for you, which I should ask you before. How is Nectar doing right now? How long have you been together? And you tour around what, the eastern part of the state and around the country? Where do you tour?
Yeah, we had two tours. We started out in 2019, and it was for their 50th anniversary tour. We were so excited, but with COVID and all, we got grounded. So we, in that time frame, started working again and doing shows. And we just came back. We had quite a few shows in March and April, and just got back from Cruise to the Edge. That was a rock band cruise with 38 different bands on there. It was wonderful. And now we go back out on Labor Day. So we will be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina at Storybook Farms. And that will be on September 4th, Saturday. And then after that, at the end of the month, we will be in Delaware at the Arden Guild Hall in Delaware. And then on the 1st, we will be in Poughkeepsie, New York at the Sea of Tranquility Festival. And we will be headlining along with Vanilla Fudge. Remember Vanilla Fudge?
Yes. You keep me hanging on.
Absolutely. So we'll be headlining with them.
Absolutely.
And then also for those that are around for Thanksgiving and back by popular demand, we will be back at Orion Studios in Baltimore, Maryland for two shows, a matinee and an evening show. And that will be in November. And then on that Sunday of Thanksgiving Day weekend, we will be at Sellersville Theater in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. And there's more shows to come and possibly more cruises. So everybody can follow us and get their tickets ahead of time and their VIP experiences by going to nectarsmusic.com. That's Nectar, Nektars music.com.
All right. You got to where to go get the CD and where they're touring Nectar. What made you decide to get into massage therapy and some of your other medical licensing, things you're doing now?
Well, 22 years ago, I had a health scare. I became allergic to a pharmaceutical medication for thyroid medication, and they did not catch it at first. So by the time they caught the allergy, I had all types of systems that were affected, from my eyes to my kidneys to my skin, and even landed up getting some lumps in the neck that had to be surgically removed. And when that happened, I got allergic to all medication, even including as much as Tylenol that people would take. So I had to find another way to help myself in order to survive. And I found my way into alternative and complementary medicine. I fell in love with it. Not only did it help heal me, I wanted to be able to take my knowledge and be able to help others that might have had that health scare. So since February 1st, 2000, that was my last pharmaceutical or over-the-counter drug I was ever able to take. So anytime, of course, I'm human, you get things in life. So I follow up with enzyme therapy, homeopathic therapy, and herbs and all of that kind of things, and learned about nutrition and became a nutritionist and a board certified holistic health practitioner. So I also do medical massage, shiatsu, reflexology, chair massage. I incorporate Reiki as well, because I'm a Reiki master, into my practice. So that way you could get a complete healing on physical and mental, emotional, spiritual, because that's what it's about. And ever since I was able to work with myself, I was able to work with others and help work with people with autoimmune disease, even my own mom who had lupus for 38 years. And it took 18 months working alongside her doctor and finding out the nutritional deficiencies. And I am proud to say it's going to be her 13th year in full remission of lupus.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wanted to ask you this question about the Liberty Bell Smack. When did you actually start that up with Mark and Sal?
That was October of last year, which was 2021.
Oh,
October 28th was our premiere show of 2021. And we had Warren Brewster and Randy Lurch as our special guests.
oh I remember Randy Lurch.
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
a wonderful guy, has his own journey, has his own book out. God is
right.
in the bullpen, and it is absolutely wonderful for your listeners who've never maybe picked that up. Randy Lurch's book is fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks doing books now. My friend Claudia Rosano has one out.
Yes.
I just interviewed Mike Westhoff about 2 weeks ago on my Sports Corner show. He's a former assistant coach all around the NFL. He was with the Jets for a little while,
Yeah.
and we talked about the Jets in his book, and a lot of books coming out. A lot of people getting back into writing. It seems like the books are making a comeback. It seems like these days.
I'm a book
Uh,
nerd, so I love books. I have to admit I do, and it's
yes.
all kinds from even my kind of reading people's journeys in life. I love to do that, but I also have this thirst for knowledge because I want to stay on the frontier of all things and be on that frontier for people, especially with health. Because I do have my own practice in Cranford, New Jersey, called Neo
Ah,
Zoe, and
right.
some people may have seen the logo before, and I'm very excited about it. And Neo Zoe actually means new life. And that's why it
That
says
is
new life
great.
through balanced living. And people come in and get a lifestyle change, and I work with them. Even if it's from things with weight loss or working with autoimmune diseases like lupus, you have diabetes is another big one, cancers, things of that nature, and how to be able to find their health again and help them on their journey.
All right, everybody, if you just heard the thunder and lightning, we have some thunder and lightning here in Pittsburgh. So it just rolled in here. And, so the weatherman's wrong again, as always. You know, I never seen a job in my life, Maryann, where you get paid all this big money to be wrong. I mean, and never get fired.
No, not at all. And it's
I
been
mean,
raining here in New Jersey on and off all day and downpours. Some of it wasn't even predicted. So,
hey, did you hear about the Gary Busey thing? You
yes,
know
I
Gary
did.
Busey? Oh
Yes,
my gosh.
the
What's
actor.
your thoughts on that? I thought that was terrible. I mean, he's had problems over the years. You'd think he'd clean himself up a little bit. I mean, he's like, what, 70 years old or something? And he's just, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. He's in trouble again. It was tough. When I heard that, I said, I'm going to talk to that tonight with Maryann about that. I thought,
Well, if you've
you
had
know,
a history of doing these things, and for people who might not be familiar what happened with that, am I correct that it was at a convention of some sort?
hmm
And
yeah, a horror monster convention.
okay, and then he was with the women. I'm not sure exactly the whole story of what went on that he was accused of.
hmm Well, what I read was he was accused of groping some people at a meet and greet at this monster thing. So I heard he goes to all these conventions, like Dog the Bounty Hunter now. He's going to these Comic Cons and he's been touring the country right now. I think he has another book out and with his new wife and things like that. I love Dog. He's one of my favorite people, Dog the Bounty Hunter. I still watch his repeat shows. But for Gary Busey to do this when he's trying to, I would assume, trying to resurrect himself after all these years of abuse and everything that he's done, you thought maybe that might happen.
And
Uh,
and there's always two
so go.
sides of no, but there's
That's all
always
right.
two sides of the story as well.
Yeah.
He does have
Oh
the
yeah.
history of it, so automatically we're thinking, okay, this happened again. It shouldn't have happened. It's completely inappropriate. But then there's another
hmm
side to say, you know, is he being falsely accused? We don't know because he has that history. Like I don't know the other side or exactly what the
Right.
whole incident was
Right.
to really comment fully
Yeah,
on.
I agree with you on that too, Maryann. There's always two sides to every story on everything. And you don't know, these women could be gold diggers. I mean, there are some of them out there that are looking for lawsuits on somebody all the time, come up with these fake things. And that's one of the reasons why, and I did a thing last week about lawyers not taking lawsuits. Now I know why, because, lawyers get stuck with this stuff and then, they end up losing. And now I understand why they don't take lawsuits anymore. And this is one of the reasons why, maybe. So you
Right.
might have some of these women out here who are looking to be gold diggers and looking to dig into something. My name's Ralph Williams. This is the way I see it. If it's your first time watching, we're live on YouTube and Facebook. My special guest, Maryann Castello from the Liberty Bell Smack Show every Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. live on their Facebook page and on WWDB 860 AM radio in Philadelphia. Speaking of Philly, I've never been to Philly personally. I've seen Philly on TV, numerous movies, TV shows. I just watched the movie Warrior where they showed Philly, and
Yeah.
I've never been there. I've watched Parking Wars and things like that. What is Philly like? I mean, I want to hear the real story about Philly. I hear 50-50 about it. Today I had to go get my cortisone shots because I have arthritis in my
Oh.
shoulders. And the technician was telling me she was from Philly, and she says she loves Pittsburgh way better than Philly. She said the cities are definitely different and everything else. And I know, you guys have the cheesesteak there. We have Permani sandwiches here. So what's it like there in Philly?
In Philly, when you're saying 50-50, sometimes the crime could be an issue within Philly. However, it is a beautiful city. And remember Rocky running up those
Yeah,
stairs and doing
yeah,
all of that stuff. So, it keeps you in shape. And then don't forget you have that Liberty Bell and all the
yes.
historical things.
Hmm.
But also for the cheesesteaks, and since you mentioned them, are you familiar with Tony Luke?
Yes, I've heard of the name. Yes.
Well, Tony Luke, he's been on my television show as well. And I worked with him with City of Angels as well. City of Angels is an organization for recovery,
Uh,
and was able to work with him. But his cheesesteaks are so good that if you are familiar with Bobby Flay, the celebrity chef
yeah,
on the Food
yes, I
Network,
am.
well, he
Hmm.
has a show called Throwdown with Bobby Flay, and he had
Oh,
a
okay.
throwdown with Tony Luke in Philly. I am proud to say I asked Tony right on my show, I said, "Hey, did you win the throwdown?" He said, "I have a reputation to keep. I'm from Philly. I have better have won that competition." And he did. And
Hmm.
I thought it was because of the ingredients. And you know what he said? No, it wasn't. He just cooked that steak too high. And that's why he lost.
Well, I was watching an episode of Bar Rescue, and Bar Rescue's been in Philly a few times to rescue a few places. And the one I watched was Lickety Split, and he was trying to have a cheesesteak to compete with that, with Tony. And I was like, if this is the guy, I don't understand why you would even try to even compete with him. And I told you the story on Thursday about how I was in Ocean City, Maryland, and they were talking about, and they had this place there, and it said the authentic Philly cheesesteak. All right, and this was 2 years ago, and I tasted it, and it didn't taste authentic. And they had a pizza shop that claimed they had the authentic Philly
Of course.
cheesesteak. But of course you have to have the real one in Philly. I'm planning on possibly in the next few years taking a trip to Philly. My wife and I have looked into that. I always said I wanted to see what Philly looked like before I die, and so
Aw.
at least I want to take a look at that. But we're taking a trip in October to Atlantic City, and which I saw again on the movie this morning. I was watching Warrior over again. I love Warrior. It's one of my favorite
And
movies.
by the way, congratulations, because on our show on Liberty Bell Smack, we found out that you were just newly married. So
Oh, thank you. I
congratulations to that,
appreciate that.
you
Thank
and
you
your
so
wife.
much.
So many
Maryann
happy.
says thank you. My wife is right here. She
Aw.
says congratulations on the wedding. Okay, so there you are. She's sitting right here with me. So anyway, she's a big supporter, and I love her to death. She
Never
supports everything I
underestimate
do.
never underestimate the power of love.
That's it. You're right. I also am starting up with some new wrestling shows here in Pittsburgh, which, of course, as I mentioned Thursday, the wrestling here talk is unsatisfied right now, and I want to satisfy it. So Thursday of this week, we're starting to record some shows, myself and Smoke and Jim, on a show called Talking Wrestling, and
And
I gotta see what my schedule happens. It's going to be on TV here in Pittsburgh, Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable. PCTV is where it's going to be at. It'll be on a rotating basis because they rotate all the shows, different times. I don't have the only time slot I have steady there is at 5 p.m. every Saturday for Sports Corner. So,
well, that
but
should be fun. Are you going to be talking about all the divisions of wrestling?
Pretty much, yeah. But our main focus these days has been on WWE and Vince McMahon stepping down. That's been the big news, and he's in some trouble, and he had to step down as CEO, and now Triple H, Paul Lisquilano, is running it now, and along with his wife Stephanie McMahon, and so I think it's going to be better. They're hiring back some guys that Vince McMahon fired for the executive area. They've moved
Oh,
some people around. So,
well, the only thing that I have to admit that I'm really familiar with wrestling from a personal experience. Have you
mhm.
ever talked about Jello wrestling?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't talked about it.
Well, many moons ago, in high school,
I,
they had a Jello wrestling event, and I had to be in that. And you're thinking, "Oh, this is so easy. It's so easy." I got to tell you something. You forget that the Jello has to be frozen cold in order to stay set, so it's not liquid. It is the coldest thing you would imagine that you're walking into, where your feet feel like they're all frostbitten. And not only that, it was green jello. So, needless to tell you, my skin was dyed for a couple of days after that event as well.
Oh, wow.
And you wouldn't think it. It's so crazy, but I'm just trying to make some fun of wrestling. But I think wrestling has come a long way over the years, and especially, when you have the professional wrestling and our very own buddy, Mr. Mark Mancini, being
Yeah,
the
yeah, he was
XPW announcer.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, I have interviewed a couple guys here. I interviewed on my Thursday night Blog Talk radio show. I interviewed Bob Cook, who was a former wrestler, and I interviewed uh, a um, a gentleman called Tom LaJerky. He is a ring announcer for Keystone State Wrestling Association, which they do independent wrestling all across Pennsylvania, and they do fundraisers. Like, for
Right.
instance, let's say the Philadelphia VFW wanted to do a fundraiser, they would call them, and they would do a wrestling fundraiser, which, of course, probably makes them more money than spaghetti dinners or raffles or flea markets or rummage sales or whatever it is. A lot of these places have to, or what they call a corn night or something where they have ears of corn. I forget what they used to call them things, but you know what Oh, wow. Oh, okay. We're having some technical issues here because of the
That's
lightning.
okay.
So the lightning's making everything go in and out here. So, but we're back, so that's good.
Well, some of us see us
We're
on the left,
just
some of
we're
us
just
see us
on
on the
opposite
right.
we're just on opposite sides of the screen. See,
That's
So, but anyway, uh, I had this is the second Monday night, Maryann. You're not going to believe this. I had some issues with this show. Last Monday night, I had to take my mother to the hospital, and I was waiting for her. And I did my broadcast from my Jeep.
I
So
could believe
tonight I'm in my Studio B, but I had to now we got lightning here. You know what I mean?
they want to see how fast you could work on your feet because you're
Yes,
live.
exactly. Well, yeah, that's true. Exactly. Yeah,
You handled that well, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You
Thank you.
did.
So, uh, one more thing I wanted to ask about Philadelphia. They say it's the city of brotherly love, but some people are telling me that ain't the case. Is that just the theme of Philly, or is it, or Philly is really that good?
Philly has its charms. It really does. I think, like other cities, it has its good and bad things. I mean, I do know recently about all of the shootings that they had and things like that. But for the most part, it's been really good. Um, and it has, like I said, the city of brotherly love. It's what it's supposed to be about. I always think of Rocky when I say that. I can't
Rocky,
help it,
yeah.
running up them stairs and getting in shape. But I
And I
think that
remember, I remember the Denzel Washington thing in Philadelphia when he said, "Remember, we're supposed to be the city of brotherly love." Yeah,
exactly, that's
yeah.
exactly
That
right.
was a good movie too, from
Was.
Philadelphia. So,
There's a lot of things, from
yes,
Philly that really have taken hold. And we always use the Liberty Bell in our logo on Liberty Bell
I like
snacks.
that.
And this
Yeah.
way you could ring
I
that
want to see
bell.
the Liberty Bell. I want to come to Philly and see what our sister city looks like over on the other side of the state. Are you familiar with a chef named Brian Duffy? He's from Philadelphia. He has some restaurants nearby. He was on Bar Rescue. He was on Beat Bobby Flay. He was on Food Network. He has a couple. He had a couple shows, and I think he has a book out now. Are you familiar with him?
I'm familiar with him. I haven't
Uh,
followed him, but I know who he is. Yes.
oh yeah, yeah. He's one of my favorite chefs when I watch Bar Rescue. I like him a lot. But um, Bar Rescue did Downey's there. They did Lickety Split, and then they did a Swanky Bubbles, and they changed it to Sheer Swanky Bubbles. What a name for a place.
Oh my God, that's
I
fantastic.
laugh. I couldn't laugh so hard no more than Swanky Bubbles. And now there's question marks about Bar Rescue out there, Maryann, about whether it's fake or real. And and some of these bar owners, and I know the guy for Lickety Split, he wasn't real happy about what John Taffert did to his bar. And
Oh,
I
really?
think he's suing him or trying to go after him for some back money or something. I don't know how it works, but I love the show. I mean, it's great.
Well, they have Bar Rescue, and didn't they have something to do with restaurants as well? Wasn't there a
Restaurant
restaurant?
Impossible.
Yes,
I'm trying
that's
to
it.
remember the one
Yes,
he did in Philly, but I
yes.
know he did one. He did about 4 or 5 here in Pittsburgh. One
Yeah.
of them was really key, and I was real familiar with the family. Dell's restaurant. Watch the one in season 4, Dell's from Pittsburgh,
Dallas. Okay.
Restaurant Impossible. I ate in that restaurant for years. My family and their family in the Italian neighborhood of Bloomfield have some ties together. Our families,
Oh, okay.
so that means a lot to me. And I've eaten in that restaurant for many years. And my sister worked there, bussing tables or washing dishes or something years ago. And so the family it was 60 years, 60 years of that,
Wow.
6 generations of that family, and they ran it into the ground. They didn't listen to anything Robert told them, and
Oh,
they made fun of him when he left. And I told the owner, I says, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I says, the guy comes here, he tries to help you out, and then you want to take his menu and throw it away and laugh at him and everything else. So they ended up going out of business, and then they tried 2 barbecue places. It didn't work.
oh.
So
So here's the question: do you cook, and are you opening a restaurant?
I would love to. I'm thinking about if I can find the recipe, marketing my grandma's old spaghetti sauce.
Oh, yum. Oh, you called it
Okay.
sauce, or is it
Sauce.
gravy?
Spaghetti sauce. I mean, this is some real good homemade spaghetti sauce. I'm thinking about marketing it.
Mhm.
My aunt passed away about 3 years ago. My mom and I have been unable to find the recipe because she was the one that held the recipe. So,
Look under the mattress.
yeah, well, we've done that already. So,
Just kidding. I know. It's just
yeah.
like when our ancestors, and our relatives pass and they have that secret recipe, you know.
Mm.
I used to have my grandmother give my mother recipes back in the day, except my grandmother would leave out one of the main ingredients just so it could not compare to hers.
I had I have a recipe. You're not going to believe this. I have a recipe for beans and wieners. I call it
Really?
Ralphie. I call it Ralphie stew. And my sports corner partner and wrestling talk show partner, Smoking Jim Frazier, I gave him some one day at the studio when we were doing our live broadcast, and he liked it so much he wants more. And then some of my other media friends here, Luther Dupree and a few others, they do a sports show too on the same TV network called Steel City Sports World. We all work together. In fact, Wednesday we're getting together here for a special Steeler broadcast, and I'm going to have Luther, Smoker Jim, and Claudio, and some other guys on. To come on and talk about we're going to talk about the season for the Steelers, getting ready for their season. That's coming up tomorrow or Wednesday night. Tomorrow night I have Sal on, and then
Yeah.
I have a Penguin reporter coming on later to talk about the Penguins. So it's a busy week for me and broadcasting, and I have a DJ gig on Friday, and it's just a great week. So my weekend's going to be spent sleeping, other than going to church.
Well, that's a good thing, though. You work
Yeah.
hard and you do that. I used to have a radio show with, I don't know if you're familiar with Frank McKay. He's out of Long Island, and he's now part of actually the head of that radio station now. And we used to do a health show, and it was New Life with Maryann Castello because of my business New Life.
Uh-huh.
And we did all kinds of health things. So what you could aspire to is to get to the XB Awards and get yourself an XB Award. I did that. That's a,
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if you could see it, but
Oh, yeah, there it is. There
there
you
it is.
go.
And that
All
was for
right.
media and communications.
There you
I
go.
was so excited. Another
I'm waiting for the public access TV awards to come up this year because I think I might be up for a couple, but I'm not sure. I'll
Oh,
see
that would
what
be
happens.
exciting. It's so exciting. It really
Oh
is.
yeah, it is. It is because this is my second go round in media. My first go round wasn't all that great.
But then, you
So
know what? If at first you don't succeed, you try
try
again,
again.
and you
That's right.
always believe in yourself, because if you
Self.
believe
That's
in
right.
yourself, you can accomplish anything you want.
Anything. That's right.
Anything you want.
Well,
And
back
just
in the day when I did DJ, and I thought it was going to be something like, I had listened to a guy here. He was on the radio forever. His name was Scott Paulson. And
Mhm.
I says, you know what? He's making me laugh every morning on my way to school, on my way to work. So I figured, what, I would be like Scott Paulson. So I went to school for trades, auto
Okay.
body, auto mechanics, small engine repair. And then I said one day out of clear blue sky, you know what? Screw that. I don't want to do that no more. I want to be a radio broadcaster. So I went to school, and then I ended up working at a small AM radio station called WKPA in New Kensington, PA. And then I worked at a religious station called WPLW AM 1590. I told you the story about what happened there on that.
Mhm.
I had my Christian rock show going on, and I show up for work. It started at 5 p.m. It was a dawn to dusk station,
Oh.
and what had happened was I come into work that day, and my boss informs me that it's the last day of the rock shop.
Aw.
And you're not going to believe this, Maryann, but I was beating the major FM Christian station, their rock show. I was beating them in the ratings.
Aw.
And the guy that was in charge of hiring at that station was so jealous of me for what I did, he wouldn't hire me when that position came open. You'd think he would have hired me to boost the ratings back up for that station, but he didn't do it that way because he was so angry because I outdid him a couple times in the ratings and a few other things. And, so he was jealous, and he never hired me. And then I walk into work. Here's my luck with radio, Maryann. Walk into work at WKPA. They had just reshuffled the lineup. They had a 6 a.m. to noon shift, a noon to 6, and that was me. And then they had a 6 to midnight. So what they were going to do was that was going to be the 3 shifts. So my shift was 12 to 6. I come into work, and there's a guard standing at the steps because you had to walk up to the second floor. I wasn't handicapped then, but you had to walk up to the second floor. So I start up the steps. The security guard said, "What's your name?" I give him my name. He looks on the sheet. He said, "You have 15 minutes to get your stuff, whatever stuff you have here, and get out of the building." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, your job has been terminated here. It was taken over by another company. So they just terminated us. Didn't give us no notice, nothing, showed up for work. And it was my first day on that station full time because I was working morning shift on the Christian station till 10, and then I was going to work at that station at night. I was working both stations back to back. And it
Well,
just turns out that it didn't work out that way. And then after that, I gave up. I just, you know what? I said, if this is what's going to happen, I don't need to do this. And then I decided to get back into TV in the 90s. And I started sports talk with Ralph Williams on the same station I'm on now again. And I went all the way to 2000. And one day in 1999, I was doing a show on the new soccer team, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, our soccer team.
mhm.
And I started talking about the Riverhounds, had a guest on, had a guy on from the Riverhounds. Some guy calls up and says, "Oh, I'm not into soccer, but I want to know what you think Hines Ward's going to do this year for the Steelers." So I got so angry about the fact that he called up about the Steelers when I'm trying to get the city pumped up about this new soccer team. And I said to him, he's going to take the ball, he's going to kick it in the net. That's what he's going to do. And then I kind of hung up on him. And then after that, I said, you know what? This isn't a sports town anymore. This is a Steeler town. That's all they want to talk about any time. I try to do something on the Pirates, try to do something on Pitt football, try to do something on. They just, so I said, I'm done. If I can't talk sports like I want to, forget it. I'm done. So I gave up. Then I came back again about a year later on TV, and I've been doing podcasts now for about 3 years, and started doing it in Raleigh when my aunt passed away. I was sitting down there doing some thinking, and I says, you know what? I think I might start doing some podcasts on social media. Maybe I'll get myself up to something. And now I'm doing, all this work now, and it's great. I enjoy every minute of it right now. So I'm just hoping to get for bigger and better things.
It always is. Like I said, sometimes it just wasn't the right timing back when you
Timing,
started.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
then you learn things and you learn lessons. And as we get older, we gain wisdom, and you apply that and you get a whole brand new respect for it. And also, you could be able to talk what you want to do, what you're doing. And that's why you call it Just the Way I See It. Great
That's the
title
way I
for you.
see it, and that's exactly what I do. I tell it the way I look at it and the way I see it. I tell it like it is, and I tell people if you don't like it, too bad. I mean, because that's the way I look at it.
Right. But this could be
And
your time.
there's not a lot of people here, Maryann. There's a lot of stations here that don't like folks like me. Wendy Bell, Wendy Bell Radio. She was fired from 2 stations here because they didn't like some of the stuff she said. She went out and started her own radio station, and so that's a good thing. And so I got things going on with Mark Mancini, and I'm hoping things get better there as well. As far as the wrestling show's taking off, and I hope that we can move on with some other stuff. So
Well,
but
you always have mentors in the business. And one thing that, Mark always says, money can come and go, but relationships are priceless. And
Yeah,
when he says
exactly.
that, he is really true to form when he says that. And
Oh
really
yeah,
one of the best guys in the business. So you're in good hands with Mark. And also, it's about timing. Just believe in yourself, Ralph, because as
I
you
do.
do, some things might close, but that just opens up another door that's
Another
bigger and better. And when you least expect it, because if somebody would have told me this would have happened with this book of what happened, I wouldn't
right.
have believed it for a minute. It was like the last thing I ever thought, but I had people around me who were encouraging me when I got that phone call. And when I first started this, I didn't even know who the author was, that I'd be doing the
Yeah.
book with. And when I found out, and I was, a big Jack Canfield fan, and so much so we started doing the meditation DVDs and all, and you could find online pictures of us while he was holding up the meditation DVD for chakra cleansing, if for those of you who may not be familiar, and you could get
Oh,
this online as well. And what's
there you
really
go.
nice is the frontman from Nectar, Rich Salanda, he wrote all original music for this, and we studied all of the chakras, and worked also with a great gentleman who also is part of their light show for Nectar, Jay Petsko, and he did all of the kaleidoscopes and everything that you see pulse generated together with the music. And I wrote all the scripts doing affirmations, NLP, and using my experience, and then I narrated them all. And it's really a fantastic way to learn how to meditate with your eyes open. So it's something very unique that we had. And if you would have told me all of this would have happened and this was happening with the book, I would have told you were crazy. I'd say, what are you, I want, we are having, and
Yeah.
if you follow and you believe in yourself, yes, there's always some hiccups in the road, or there might be people that just might not been the right people to be around, and our good Lord is able to get those people out of your life to put the right people to come in right when you need them and right when you have it. And we always say you have a plan and you're going with it, but we plan and God laughs because it's in his timing, and this could be your timing. And I really believe it
I
is.
appreciate that. Thank you, Maryann. Maryann, in closing tonight, can you tell the audience how they can get your book, and in closing, can you tell them how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in anything else?
Absolutely. Well, you could watch the television show. It is Barrel with Maryann Castello, and that is every Wednesday night here in the Northeast on Comcast channels. And also, you can get in touch with me if you want the book at neozoe.com. That's neoszoe.com. And that's Maryann at neozoe.com. So that way, if you even want some health concerns, I do nutritional consults and things, and work with people all over the country. So feel free to reach out for that if you want healing work. And you could find me on Facebook, on Liberty Bell Smack Facebook page, or right on my own at Maryann Castello, or at Barrel TV and the Barrel TV group. And you could always, always find me on the road with Nectar at
Nectar.
any venue near you. And I'm happy to sign things for you and autographs and
Appreciate it.
have you
Thank
be
you.
part of the experience. So thank you so much, Ralph, for having me on your show. It means
You're
the world.
welcome. Thank you for having me on Thursday. It was great. I had a great time,
We'll
and
have you
I
back.
appreciate
It
that
was
as well.
great.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Maryann Castello here on The Way I See It tonight. Thank you, Maryann. It was nice talking with you tonight. We'll talk again. Have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. So anyway, that was Maryann Castello from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She's on a show called Liberty Bell Smack, and she's also an author and many other things that she does as well. All right, let's continue on with The Way I See It. Comment section wide open as you like the interview. What you have anything you want to mention about the show tonight? We're in Studio B here at 808 Studios because I have some stuff going on in Studio A, and I have to use Studio B tonight as well. Don't forget Wednesday or tomorrow night's Sports Corner. I have the second host of Liberty Bell Smack, Sal Tara on tomorrow. He's going to talk about his book and what he does in Philly, and we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles because the Steelers played Eagles this year, and I want to see what the Eagles are up to. I have brought on last week. I brought on Clayton Truder to talk about the Atlanta stuff, and then I brought on Mike Westhoff about the Jets, Steve Bellisario about the New England Patriots. So I'm going to continue to bring some of these writers on from other cities. Leo Haggerty from Tampa. And I'm hooked up with Peter Blake down there in Tampa as well. Scott Morganroth, we talked earlier in the season around the draft time about Jacksonville, Miami, and all the teams in Tampa Bay and all the teams down there in Florida as well. So, just to get you this coming Saturday, Sunday, I'm sorry, the Steelers are playing the Detroit Lions. We'll talk about that tomorrow night as well. And also don't forget about my Steelers special Wednesday night right here on YouTube and Facebook with me, Ralph Williams, Luther Dupree, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano from the Steel City Sports World. And we're going to debate about the Steelers and possibly El Levine, the Talking Machine from Bethel Park TV, and I'm working on a few others as well. And Joe Kuglis also will be on, our draft guru and Steeler expert. He will be on talk about the Steelers as well. We're going to have a nice time Wednesday night. It's going to be a nice party right here on Facebook and YouTube. It will be sponsored by me, Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams podcast every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. live across the country and around the world on YouTube and Facebook. All right, tonight, let's get started with our regular segments. Our next segment is Ralph's Rant. I want to talk about Pittsburgh City Council for a minute here. Pittsburgh City Council has come up with some plans finally. And, here's what bothers me. They finally have come up with something. It took all this time to come up with something to deal with the homeless. Okay, you have tents everywhere. You have homeless camps all over the place. You have people saying they can't find jobs, which I think is crazy. Because I've said this many times about the gentleman that runs the Light of Life mission, okay? He's trying to say there's no jobs out here for homeless people. Well, no, there is jobs, okay? Question is, are the homeless people willing to go out and get those jobs? That's the question, okay? But my rant tonight is simple, and that is that City Council took this long to finally see what is going on here with this homeless crisis we have in Pittsburgh. And I know what you're saying to me, Ralph, some people have had hard luck, rent, inflation, and all that other stuff. Nobody told you couldn't go out and get a job. Nobody told you that you couldn't at least try, okay? And that's something that I have a big problem with here, and that's that problem right there, okay? All right? Oh, we have all these programs for rent, but nobody signs up for them, okay? All right. Why? Is it because of pride? Well, pride got you where you are. Okay. And sometimes you got to swallow your pride. And that's part of my rant tonight, too. You got to swallow your pride. But City Council has recommended to the mayor, finally tonight and throughout this entire week, about a policy about homeless people. And they need to do something. They really do, because it's making our city look bad. It's making our city look ridiculous. We just had a bunch of people in town for the Red Sox games, for the Pirates, the Steeler games, and all kinds of other activities, concerts and things like that. They had to walk around and see homeless people out on the sidewalk. I mean, I know you see that in L.A. You see that everywhere else and everything else. But let me make a suggestion to the city, if they can afford it. Okay? Go out and get yourself a homeless czar. Nothing wrong with that. Los Angeles does it. Raleigh, North Carolina does it. Raleigh has a structured thing for homeless people. What they do is they go around and they get them off the streets and they, and tell them to stop begging and doing all this other stuff and then they help them out. They put them in a shelter or they help them get jobs. I don't have a problem with helping homeless people. I help homeless people myself. When I'm outside on the road, I have packed up bags of socks and shampoo and soap and combs, sometimes shaving cream, depends on what I get. Okay, and I give out bags to the homeless because I care. All right, the Lord tells us to care, but I have a problem when they don't help themselves. That's when I have a problem with homeless people. Okay, and if that's being homeless, that's even more shameful. Tonight's rant was brought to you by Robin Campbell Insurance, 412-366-3399. Call Robin Campbell today. He is the sponsor tonight of Ralph's Rant. He has Farmers Insurance, Life, Auto, Home, all types of insurance, including renters insurance. And speaking of we have a lot to talk about tonight, and it's great that you're here tonight. Your comments are always welcome in the comments section as well tonight. All right, tonight we're going to start my blast. I want to blast Jefferson Memorial Cemetery. Okay, Jefferson Memorial Cemetery is located out on Curry Hollow Road here in the Pittsburgh area, in Pleasant Hill section. Okay, my cousin is buried in there. Okay, he died some time ago of stomach cancer. All right, some gentleman wanted to go see his loved one. Well, he couldn't because there was a car cruise going on there. Right in the cemetery, there's a car cruise going. And then Jefferson Cemetery, to try to cover their tracks, they tell everybody in the news media, oh, no, we didn't do it there. It was off of cemetery property. Well, if it was off of cemetery property and you really didn't do it at the cemetery, then where did you do the car cruise? Why did you block up everything to where people couldn't go see their loved ones, which they expect they like to do and sometimes want to go do? Put flowers there. They want to go see and remember their loved ones, and they can't because they're having a car cruise here. You know what, Jefferson Cemetery, I say this all the time. You should be ashamed of yourself because you should never, ever do something like that, and that's the way I see it tonight. You want a car cruise, put it somewhere else, or put it off your property outside, or work with somebody else and do a joint car cruise. Do something other than that. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Westmoreland County. The couple who malnourished their two kids. You know what? If you can't afford to have kids and you can't handle kids, don't make them. I've said that many times. Do not make them. Okay? There's birth control. There's condoms. All right? And I know that's against God's will, because when you're not married, you're not supposed to have sex. But let me tell you this, okay? If you're gonna do it that way, all right? Do it the way you want to do it. That's fine. But don't have kids and you can't take care of them. You malnourished two kids. And then today you got charged with it in front of a judge. All right? That's out of control. I do not like that. You know what? That's unacceptable. And I'm blasting you tonight, the couple from Westmoreland County who did this, because you should be ashamed of yourself. And then you're going to jail, and your kids are now with CYS. And that's the way I see it tonight. Wendy's. Now, Wendy's, I'm blasting you tonight because you have bad tomatoes. Okay? Yeah, bad tomatoes is people got sick. I have a problem when you violate people's health like that. Okay? It's bad enough now that we're going to these restaurants and we can't get what we want and we can't get it right. Okay? All you fast food people, you complain you want $15 an hour. All you fast food companies complain about this and complain about that. But then you have bad tomatoes. Bad tomatoes. All right? So, Wendy's, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm blasting you for that tonight. That's the way I see it. Next, University of Pittsburgh. You know what? I blast the University of Pittsburgh many times for many things. But this, to me, is unacceptable. And I understand you have a problem. Okay, you knew you had 8,000 housing kids that needed housing. Kids are not living off campus no more because rent's too high. Then you got to bring 4 or 5 people in living in the house. You're trying to do your studies. They want to party. They want to blast the TV. They want to do all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're having all kinds of issues, okay? So what I'm saying to you is that, okay, Pitt, you shouldn't, for COVID, you had students living elsewhere. And they enjoyed it. They lived in hotels and all that. Well, now you got them living at Carlow College or Carlow University, excuse me. You got them living all across the city because why? You guys dropped the ball when you knew you needed 8,000 units and you don't have enough for dorm housing. Okay? People can't afford the frat houses no more. They don't want to live in them anymore. They don't want the concept of that stuff anymore. They want to live in the dorms. That's fine, and I understand the situation, okay? But when you do that to these students who are, especially some of the freshmen who are just here this year, okay, they don't want to go through that. All right, the blast segment was brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a great DJ, does parties, weddings, and special events. Call DJ Fun today, 412-545-4317. DJ Fun, fun, experience, value. That's what you get from DJ Fun. Comment section's wide open tonight. This is the way I see it. I am Ralph Williams. We just spent the last 30 minutes with a fine lady from Philadelphia and New Jersey area. Her name is Maryann Castello. She talked to us about her book, their show on Thursday night called Liberty Bell Smack, and her other shows that she does on TV, her band Nectar, and her books and her practice. And it was great to have her on. She was a great guest. We'll talk again with her some other time as well. All right, my next segment is Bonehead. All right. Well, tonight's Bonehead is the guy who called in a bomb threat because he didn't want to go to his court hearing. So he decides he's going to call it a bomb threat. What a bonehead. Okay, that's totally ridiculous. What a bonehead. All right. So That guy is one of my boneheads tonight. That's the way I see it. My next bonehead, the people who continue, and this is an ongoing problem. How can you be so stupid? Oh, I don't need to ask that question because stupid never takes a vacation, okay? Especially, with my situations here, with some things, stupid never takes a vacation, and I've seen that over the years and many times, okay? But how can you be so stupid? All you folks who leave things in your car and leave your car unlocked, and then want to know why thieves steal your stuff. Okay, all right. They do it because you let them do it. They do it because you open the door for them to do it. Okay, why? That's why you're a bonehead tonight. Those of you who leave things in your car, your cell phone, your computer, everything else as well. All right, we have a lot to talk about tonight, including we have some key topics to talk about tonight as well, and a lot going on in the Pittsburgh area, around the country. So I have some key topics. But first, we're going to go into my life story. My life story this week was a great week. I was on Liberty Bell Smack with Maryann Castello, our guest earlier this evening here on The Way I See It. And I was on with Sal Tarataglia and also with Mark Mancini. So we had ourselves a great time, and it was a good show. And I thank them for having me on. And I'm having Sal on tomorrow night on Sports Corner to talk about Philadelphia Eagles and his book and the things that he is doing. All right, next. All right, St. Sylvester Street Fair. Now, it's great to have the street fairs back. It really is. It's great because you know what? I was at the St. Sylvester Street Fair on Friday, and I was not impressed. I was very unhappy with it. When you go up to the money wheel, and, usually they wait till you put your money down. Well, as soon as the wheel goes around and stops, 2 seconds later, they're spinning the wheel again. And you can't even get your money down on the thing. They're spinning the wheel again. Okay? All right, that's unfair to me. I didn't like it. And I'm not saying St. Sylvester's are thieves, but what I'm saying to you is, do you think that's fair? When you go to a festival like this or a street fair or something like that, okay? Do you really I didn't think it was fair. I thought it was wrong, okay? All right. And of course, everybody ran to the food when we first got there because we had to get there super early and wait because to get a parking spot, because St. Sylvester's is very difficult to park there. All right. But I was not impressed with their street fair, and I want to let everyone know that. Maybe next year things will improve. It's our first year back because of the 2-year hiatus because of COVID. All right. Every Sunday, and this is part of my life story today, every Sunday, my mother, my wife, and I, we handle fellowship for our church. So we stop at the local Einstein Bagels. And I'm not going to tell you which one it is at this point until I speak to the manager. All right. Which I will be doing tomorrow because I have to place our bagel order. Our church orders bagels every Sunday steady for our church service, for our fellowship, paid for by the church. Well, a few weeks back, my mom had some issues with them. They messed up the order, didn't give us enough stuff, that kind of thing. My mom said something to them, and now they want to treat us like dirt. So yesterday, my mom and I went to church, and we stopped at the bagel place to pick up the bagels. And the woman that was bringing it out, who has been pretty decent until yesterday, was bringing it out. And you're not going to believe this. She got ignorant with my mother. Not only did she get ignorant with her, she copped an attitude. And then stuck her hand out and asked for a tip because she has to bring it. I'm handicapped. I can't get in and out of my vehicle to run and go get bagels. My mother's 76 years old. Okay? So she has them carry the bagels out. We do this every week. I can't give you a tip. It's not my account. We'll try to explain that to her. All right? So remember next time when you're a steady customer and you order something at Einstein Bagels, make sure you tell me you heard it on my show that they're a bunch of ignorant people that don't appreciate their steady customers. And just because my mother said something complaint-wise, now all of a sudden they want to treat us like dirt. All right, that's fine. We could always take our business somewhere else. And that's tonight's the way I see it tonight with the life story. Next, I had to ride the bus last week. I had to go to court. Downtown at the municipal courts building, as they still call it these days. Most people call it Kangaroo Court because basically that's what it is. I had to go to court again for another hearing. I have to go again tomorrow morning for another hearing. This has been dragging on for too long. I had a woman in my building where I live, who decided that she was going to steal my packages and thought she was going to get away with it. Well, she didn't. Okay, security busted her, and she still owes me, some money. She owes me money for the, for the restitution for stealing. She pleaded guilty. This is another one that I'm having trouble getting out of the building because of certain laws as related to HUD. We're going to talk about that later as well. In fact, we're going to talk about that next after I'm done here with this. Well, tomorrow I have to go. This bus driver I was talking to, I says, we were talking about jobs. And, it was back in the day when I drove for Port Authority, it was hard to get a job. Okay. It was really hard to get a job working for the Port Authority. It was always either who you knew, or you had to go through all kinds of hoops. You had to go to, career links, and then you had to take an oral examination, a physical. You got to do all that stuff to get the job. Well, now Port Authority is still hiring for drivers. They can't find people. Okay. Now, from what I'm told, and I know this for a fact because, once again, I'm the president of the Allegheny County Transit Council, that the fact of the matter is that they can't find people because they can't pass the background check, can't pass drug tests, okay, and don't have a driver's license. All right? They don't want to work holidays. They don't want to work overtime. They don't want to work weekends. Okay? I know people who would turn down $20 an hour jobs not to work weekends. All right? Okay? Me, I'll work any day, anytime, do anything if I could. All right? So here we are with this, and I'm talking to the bus driver. And nice bus driver, by the way. He was talking about he's going to retire in a few years. He worked another job. He retired, and then he's working for Port Authority for 10 years was his goal. And, I had a guy that was a student operator with me, and he had the same concept. Well, this guy's doing the same thing. He's going to retire in 10 years. So he says, I'm retiring in 3. I've already got 7 in. I said, well, congratulations. Good for you. And we were talking about today's society and how lazy it is. And you know what? He brought something to my attention that was actually pretty good as part of my life story here as we're going to finish up here. He said to me, he said, Ralph, it's not actually the whole society. And I didn't say it was the whole society. I said, we have an abundance of people in this society. This is the laziest society I've ever seen. He said it's a generational thing. And you know what? He's right. Today's generation don't want to do anything. They don't want to work. They don't want to go the extra mile. They don't want to help their fellow neighbor. The current generation we have today would rather spend time dropping the F-bomb, talking about other people's mothers, all kinds of different things, rather than walking around with their pants down their butts. You know what I mean? And I see females running around with their butt cheeks hanging out, and then they want to know why they have a problem. Things like that. It's not what it used to be anymore in this country. It's all around the world. It's all around this country. It's not just here. It's gotten worse here, though. All right. And so it's all about parenting. I've said that many times. But you know what? That driver was correct. He said it's a generational thing. It's about generations. And right now, this generation doesn't care. And that's why I've said many times about nothing. And that's the way I see it tonight with that. All right, let's take a look at our key topics tonight. We're going to talk about education. The 2 biggest topics so far in education have been about a lack of teachers. There's not enough of them going into college to become a teacher. Some teachers in some school districts get low pay. And then some of them have to put up with unruly kids. That's part of the job, all right? So now we have 3 things going on. We have a lack of teachers in our kids' education. And now we have a situation where school lunches are becoming a problem. Now let me ask you this, and I quoted this question today. As I said earlier with Maryann Castello today, I was getting my cortisone shots that I get in my shoulders every 3 months because I have real bad arthritis, okay? Anyway, I was there, and I said to the technician who was giving me the shots, and I was talking about how school lunches, everybody's complaining, Oh, I can't afford a school lunch. Well, whatever happened to packing a bag lunch or a lunch in a sack bag and packing a peanut butter sandwich or a bologna sandwich or something? You know something? You could get out Oscar Mayer bologna for about $3 and you get a pound. Then you can get if you go to the right place, okay, you can get bread. Well, I know bread might be about an extra buck, but it was a buck at one time. You go to the food banks, you get all this food, you get cheese, you get hot dogs or whatever, whatever they give you at the food bank. They give you different stuff all the time. You mean to tell me that you don't have enough in your budget to put something together to send your kid to school with if they can't afford a school lunch? Oh, my kid will get laughed at. He'll get bullied because he can't afford a school lunch. Well, I have this to say to parents, okay? Why don't you sacrifice something for your child? Then you could afford the school lunch. How about cutting back on your drinking? How about cutting back on your smoking? How about cutting back on your exotic vacations? How about cutting back on going to the casino? Or whatever it is that you do, okay, to support your child to get a lunch, okay? I have a problem with this because all these parents are sitting there complaining that they need this free lunch program because they can't afford it. But they drink booze, they drink beer, they're out constantly spending money on cigarettes, smoking pot, whatever it is that you do, going to the casino, whatever. But you can't afford a lunch for your child. Where we in society here have to listen to this. Why? It's not that hard. You know, I said this on a few shows ago. There are too many things that are hard, not hard in this country, and we make them hard. Okay? And that's one of them. All right? Okay? Well, kids should be guaranteed a healthy lunch at school. There's no guarantee of anything. And you know there's a shortage right now. Why don't you go out and help yourself and help your child? No, you're dumping it on the school. Teacher shortage. Nobody wants to be a teacher anymore. Okay? I explained why earlier. Now, the state legislature, and there's people out there, including the president of the Pittsburgh Federation of Teachers, they want to let teachers now carry a gun with a permit, and you're allowed to bring it into the school. I agree with that because the teachers need to protect themselves. Teachers are like policemen. You can't get any satisfaction no matter what it is you do. Okay? No matter how hard you try, no matter what it is you do, you cannot get anything accomplished because you have a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Teachers are like cops. That's why nobody wants to be a cop anymore. All right? Too much under the microscope. And I know we have some bad teachers out there. I know that. We do. We have teachers out there molesting students, having sexual affairs, doing things on Facebook, public social media, partying with their students. You name it, they've done it. But that's the little bit of it. Okay? That's not all of it. All right? That tonight is the way I see it about teachers, students, shortage of school buses, shortage of transportation. Okay? We can't get our kids to school. All right? Parents that don't have cars have to put them on Port Authority buses. Thank you. Now I have to get on a Port Authority bus and deal with your rowdy kid. Okay? I'm against Port Authority letting school kids get on a bus. They cause problems. Then we have to stop the bus, go get the police because the kids are acting up and rowdy. All right? Can't say something to the school because it's not a private bus company. All right? And the private bus companies can't handle anything. Why? Because they don't have any drivers. Nobody wants to be a bus driver. I don't want to put up with them kids. Hey, you know what? It's a rewarding job if you make it that way. All right? That's the way I see it tonight again. All right, next. New Whole Foods in East Liberty. New Whole Foods opened up recently in East Liberty. Congratulations to them on the new building. It's right on Penn Avenue. It's great. I'm glad that they fulfilled their investment or their agreement to put a new place up there in East Liberty because there was some talk for a while that they didn't want that property anymore. Well, it turns out that that's not the case. So I'm glad. I'm glad they opened up a new building, and I'm happy for them, and that's the way I see it. Next, I want to talk a little bit about media and the politics of it. Well, if you're not aware, this week, one of media people here in town, Kevin Battle, who used to team up with Larry Richert on KDK Radio, the station that won't hire me to do any kind of a talk show for some weird reason. I don't know why. Okay. All right. I send these shows to all the key people there, and I have not received a phone call. So, but that's beside the point anyway. I don't care anymore. All right. I'll do my own thing. All right. But anyway, Kevin Battle was teamed up with Larry Richert, and I come into work one day and said, your contract's been terminated. You know what I want to know? Where's the union here? Why isn't the union getting on these stations that you have to give some kind of notice to these people? Walk right in and was told your contract is terminated. You're done. Today's your last day. You know, that happened to me, and I badmouthed my boss right on the radio, and I didn't care. Why is it that we have that these employers think that they can do this to an employee? And in radio, it's notorious. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? To tell somebody to directly pull them in your office and say, hey, you got 2 weeks. That gives you time to do a send-off show. That gives the audience the time to say goodbye and things like that. All of a sudden, it's the last show. Catch the audience, catch your listeners, catch the advertisers, and the people who really put out the money for to keep your station alive and keep it going. Just continue to do that. Why? Because it's corporate now. Radio is corporate, and it's just about the next guy, and that's it. There's no loyalty anymore in radio. There hasn't been for a long time. It used to be who you know. I knew some people, but the people I know now, there's a couple people, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, owe me a couple favors. All of a sudden, I can't seem to find them. All right, and it's gotten a little out of control. I'm not going to name names. It's unacceptable to me, but I have to deal with it because it is what it is. All right, it's a backstabbing business. Comment section's wide open. Yesterday was National Radio Day, and this is the way Kevin Battle had to celebrate it. All right, sad to hear. Good man. Happy broadcasting day to all you radio people out there, especially some of you two-faced backstabbers as well. All right, and especially the ones or one or two that owe me a favor and you still haven't come around. In fact, you owed me a favor and you went ahead and took the job instead of giving it to me, and you have 5 jobs as it is, instead of giving me the opportunity or helping me out when you said you would. Sad, really sad. That's the way I see it about radio politics tonight. I'm calling out tonight. I'm calling out Marty Griffin, and I'm calling out Tim Stevens. Okay. Finally was able to find a way to get a hold of Tim Stevens. I have a friend of mine who is neighbors with Tim Stevens. Very good neighbors, has a good rapport with him and everything. Family, real close to him. Gave him my phone number about, 2 weeks ago. Left a message on his voicemail. I need to talk to Tim Stevens. Tim Stevens hasn't returned my phone call. And my friend even told him, he said, it's real important. It has something to do with some cause of yours. He wants to help you with it and everything. And I do. But I need to talk to him about it. He knows, I think he has an idea what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, let's get back to Marty Griffin now. Marty Griffin comes on the radio and he goes on and on about how he likes to help people. Get Marty. Help me out. I've tried to get Marty 4 times. In fact, the 5th time I tried to get him, and I was going to embarrass him on his show the other day, or on Friday. The producer wouldn't let me in. Okay? I was going to embarrass him right on his own show. You know what he said to me? Oh, you're the producer? Oh, Ralph, he'll call you. Leave another email and another message on the voice. So I did that. Guess what? Still haven't heard from him yet. What? When you're done with your show, Marty, what do? Go home? What do you do? Go pick up your kids from school? What, you can't take 5 minutes to give me a call? Can't take some time out of your schedule? What, I'm not important? You say you help people. I need your help, but you won't help me. Why? Why won't you help me? Oh, you don't like what I need help with? Is that what the problem is? Has nothing to do with radio, has nothing to do with broadcasting, has nothing to do with that at all. If that's what you think. Okay? I'm friends with a lot of media people in this town, some retired, some other. But there are some of you out there who are total backstabbers, and you know who you are, all right? And liars and everything else, okay? And you could talk about me, and you could talk about Wendy Bell, and you could talk about Mark Madden. You can talk about all of us like that. I don't care. I really don't. But someday you're going to want to hire me. And you know what? I'm going to be so big I don't need you. And you know what I'm going to tell you to do? Exactly. That's what I'm going to tell you to do. It's coming. Either you hire me now or you get me involved now, or I go national and I blow the socks off of the national audience who gives me more respect than these local people in this town. What, Marty? Are you mad at me because back in the day we used to fight over transit on your show back in the 90s and the early 2000s? Is that what's wrong, Marty? So, Marty, that makes you, selective. You don't want to help me with my cause. You help all these people that have cancer, that their landlord did this or somebody did that, but you won't help me. Why? Why, Marty? Why won't you help me? So I'm calling you out tonight, and I hope you're watching, and I hope you have a copy of this show because I'm going to send it to you because I want you to know you need to call me because I want to talk to you because I need help, but you haven't done it, and I'm exposing you tonight. Exposing you. You need to be exposed. Okay? And there are a lot of people who don't like you. And now you're going to be teaming up with Larry Richert, who is a nice, likable guy. I can't wait to see this. That's the way I see it tonight. I don't want to talk about it no more. Earlier, I blasted city council, and I'm glad I did. All right. About the homeless thing. All right, I blasted them. It was my rant tonight. They finally came up with a policy, finally doing something. Why? Because they realize they have a problem. Now, the new homeless place, and I saw it, it looks beautiful. It's down there on First Avenue, right by the Liberty Bridge. Can't miss it. Nice looking place to see tow booms and everything going up and down. We're supposed to open it sometime in October. They're only going to open a portion of it. The rest of it's going to be open in November. It's supposed to house over 300 people. They have mental services there, services for working homeless people who need a job. They're going to have free medical care there. It's going to be a nice place, okay? And this was all part of Bill Peduto's going away present, okay? Just wish it was open sooner because of the homeless situation. And everybody says it's because of inflation. It's because of COVID. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's because of laziness. I think people would rather be homeless than work. Really? Really? Homeless than work. You would rather be homeless, drink, smoke pot, and do whatever than work. Okay? But that's what's going on tonight. All right? With homeless. And now they've taken recommendations to the mayor. And now the mayor needs to act on this. He needs to do something. He needs to come up with something. I suggested earlier, and I'm going to suggest it again, they need to get a homeless czar. Somebody to work in the city to work with the homeless. Go around, check the camps, make sure they're not overcrowded, make sure they're not causing problems, make sure they're not defecating in the streets of downtown, make sure they're not, you know what I mean? Okay? Don't do like Bill Peduto, give them shower facilities, hook up mobile shower and toilets or porta johns. Okay? Gave even a dumpster at one of the homeless camps out in the north side up on Spring Garden Avenue. Yeah. I used to know some people who lived up there. They moved out because of that homeless camp. Bill Peduto did nothing for them. Okay? But support the homeless camp. All right? Okay? just like he supported protesters. All right. Instead of putting them in jail for blocking up the street, no, city police don't do that no more. All right. I don't even want to talk about that either. It's the way I see it tonight. Next, Pittsburgh Public Schools has a new superintendent, Wayne Walters. I want to congratulate Wayne Walters for being the new superintendent. It took forever and 6 years for the school board and to finally hire you. But here's the thing that gets me now. They're sitting there once again having a discussion about security. Well, security should be one of your top priorities for both your teachers, your students, and your parents. Parents got to come to school to get their kid. They should be safe. Students should be safe. Teachers should be safe. Okay? It's not happening. You got these Keystone cops in there that wear their hair up in the air and their pants halfway down their ass. That's exactly what you have working for you right now. Bummy-looking uniforms. Okay? All right? In 2001, when 9/11 hit, security became a big thing. Why isn't it a big thing now? Why aren't we paying people, professional people, to go into these schools and do this? I don't want no more Keystone cops. Security should be somebody with a firearm, somebody that has the authority to make an arrest, get them certified to do that, sort of like a cop, or detain somebody. Okay? Give them that authority. Let them do it. No, you have unarmed people who don't want to put their lives on the line like what happened in Uvalde, Texas, and just let somebody die because they didn't want to put their lives on the line because they don't make enough money. They don't have the right equipment, and they don't have the support either. Okay? So Pittsburgh Public Schools, once again on their school board meeting, is having this big debate about security. I'm tired of hearing about debates about security. Security is not hard if you don't make it hard. And yeah, pay out the little extra money. You're raising taxes. Pittsburgh Public Schools raising taxes again. So why don't you, when you raise taxes, why don't you put, charge every parent a security fee and go get some good people? Train them and get some good people in there to secure our schools and our kids. Make the teachers want to come to school and work in a good and safe environment. Make the kids want to come to a safe school. Make the parents want to come to a safe school to pick up their children. To have confidence in the school district, okay? You've got all these school districts so worried about COVID and free lunches that they've left security out of the whole thing. And that's a sad situation. Really is. And you heard my comments earlier about lunches. Okay? I'm not going to say it again. You want to hear it again, watch the show in the archive version of YouTube and also on my Sports Corner Way I See It and Wrestle Talk Facebook page. Excuse me. All right? All right, that's the way I see it tonight. All right, next, we're going to talk about the Sue Murray Pool. Over the north side Sue Murray Pool, I made a comment in the last couple of shows before this last one that I think that the city police should go in and raid the Allegheny Commons behind her. They're the cause of the crime. Selling drugs, causing the pool to close up. Finally, the community stepped up, got together, Bobby Wilson or Roger Wilson or whatever his name is, or Bobby Harris, whoever I think his name is Bobby Wilson, yeah. Because I only remember Darlene Harris when she was on city council, okay? So you have this pool that was closed because of this element. But they won't do anything about the element. They won't go arrest these people. They won't go in. They won't work with management to go in and bust these drug dealers and get them out of there. Because trust me when I tell you, I drove a cab and I drove Lyft. So I know what's in there. And I've taken people there and I know what they do there. It's not smart. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure what's going on. If you shut that up and you get that taken care of, you get some good people in there and put some of these people in jail that you say you have a room for in the jail, okay? The jail is saying that out of the 3,000 cells or whatever, 2,000 cells they have there, they're only filling 1,600 and they got 400 cells. That's another thing I want to talk about tonight. We're going to talk real quick about is that. Okay. You have judges out here who are bitching because they don't have enough space to put juveniles in the juvenile facility. All the facilities are filled. And then the county, in their infinite wisdom, lets Schumann Center just close up. Okay? So nothing's been done. Richie Fitz doesn't seem to care, because if he did, something would be done. All right? So now the judges are saying they're powerless. They have to take these kids and put them out in detention or probation or the custody of their parents or whatever. And we're talking about some violent kids here, okay? You're complaining you got room down at jail. Why don't you put them down there? Why don't you you're talking about building a new jail and downsizing it. Instead of downsizing it, once you fix it up, make one section of those 400 cells for the kids. Make that your youth area, your youth detention. It's all in one building. You're close to downtown. And guess what? You don't have to worry about building another building. You have the facility right there. Or why can't you put another building on that property that you own and put up a new facility for the youth? Okay? I know you have some of the criminal youth, okay? And I know you have them in the jail. But why not have a section, just one section for the youth, and put them in there? Make that your new Schumann Center. It's problem solved. You know something, County Council? You know something, Rich Fitzgerald? You know something, the county solicitor or whatever? I just solved you a problem. Okay? I just solved you a big problem. But instead of taking my suggestion and doing it, you continue to tie the judge's hands. You continue to just let the youth do whatever they want. And that's why there's all this violence out here. Because we have youth running around with guns, and we're not putting them in jail. We're not putting them in a facility because why? We don't have a youth facility. We have to ship them into the suburbs, and those facilities are overcrowded now. Thanks, Rich Fitzgerald. Thank you. Thank you, County Council. Thank you for shutting down the Schumann Center. Schumann Center wasn't perfect, didn't have a lot of beds, but it was there. It was something for the kids to be there. Okay? All right? Put up a new facility. Use some of the stimulus money. You want to fight crime? You want to get violence off the streets? Put these kids in jail. I mean jail. All right? Sometimes kids have to learn a lesson like that because their parents obviously are not doing it. Okay? That's the way I see it tonight about that. Violence in McKees Rocks. Well, you know, McKees Rocks, I used to live there. There was a little bit of violence here and there. Now it's really getting bad. And I suggest that whoever decides to, and I wish I was still living there because I'd either run for district justice or I would run for mayor. Because Jack Muir is too old. He's 80 years old. I'm told he's a drunk. Okay, looks awful on TV. All right. And his community is going down the toilet. Okay. That's the way I see it about McKees Rocks tonight. All right, a few small topics here. We'll get ready to wrap up here shortly at around 8:30. New wieners on the water, floating hot dog shop. A floating hot dog shop is coming to Pittsburgh. And they have these in some other cities. They're used for like special events. They're out there. The boat can pull up. And you go walk right up onto this barge, I guess, or whatever it is. And you order a hot dog. Or you pull up with your boat, and they pull up beside you, and they order a hot dog. So it's a new, unique thing, and we'll see how it works. That's the way I see it tonight. Former President Donald Trump filing a lawsuit because of the raid on his house. Poor Donald Trump. Is the FBI picking on you? That's why I lost respect for you, Mr. Trump. You notice I didn't call you president because you're not. That's the way I see it tonight. Dennis Rodman. Listen to this one. Former basketball player Dennis Rodman. Now, those of you that ever followed the NBA back in the day when Dennis Rodman was a player, he was always a problem player. He was one of them kind of guys who was physical, cheated, did some off-the-wall kind of stuff, aggravated you enough to where it was off the wall. But, and I say but, he's going to go over to Russia right now, and he's going to try to get Brittany Griner out. Oh, my. Oh, my. Like Vladimir Putin is going to listen to you, Dennis Rodman. Really. But you know what? I will give him credit. At least he's trying. What is our government doing to get her back? Nothing. We're going to exchange this very violent Russian guy and bring him back. No. You know what I say? I say you send in SEAL Team 6. You do this to Putin, and you send SEAL Team 6 over there to go get him, and you tell Putin, okay, that's what I would do if I was president. And you know what? As much as I'm not a Trump fan, I think that's what Trump would do. But this administration here is not going to do it. No, we're going to kiss the Taliban's butt and get out of Afghanistan. All right? We're going to do that. Kiss their butt. Just continue to do that. Okay? It's the way I see it tonight about that. McDonald's is bringing a UK kind of sandwich that they have at their UK branches or restaurants there in the UK. It's called a chicken Big Mac. And they're talking about bringing it here to the United States. A chicken Big Mac. That's the way I see it tonight. All right, last on the topics list, Gary Busey. We spoke about this earlier, me and Maryann Castello, who was on the show earlier. I want to thank her for being on once again. This guy is 70 years old. He's an actor, Gary Busey. If you don't know some of his movies, DC Cab, Eye of the Tiger, The Firm, he was in a bunch of movies over the years. He's been in some TV series. He was on Dr. Phil. He's had a drug problem his whole life. Okay? Now he's being accused of fondling some women or groping some women at a meet and greet at some monster terror horror festival in New Jersey. You know, Gary Busey looks like a monster. Is, from what I'm seeing right here, could be a monster. And he's done some off-the-wall stuff. He's been in jail many times because he won't stay off of drugs and alcohol or whatever it is he does. Okay? But tonight, that is the way I see it. Don't forget, next Monday and every Monday, 7 p.m., we're here on The Way I See It. 7 p.m. start time with me, Ralph Williams. Every edition is epic, and you know it, and I know it. So make sure you tune in. Archive versions are on YouTube and Facebook as well. Tuesday night Sports Corner right here live on Facebook and YouTube. Tomorrow night, my special guest, Sal Taratella, he's going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, his book, and much more. We're going to talk a little bit about the Steelers because I'm saving that for Wednesday. We're going to talk about the Pirates and this Dennis Eckersley stuff that's been going on. And I'm going to give you my opinion on that. And we also have a gentleman from the Post-Gazette coming on to talk about the Penguins. Yeah, the Penguins. Their training camp starts in September. I'm interested to see what they're going to do this year. They brought the gang back. Let's see if the gang can get the Stanley Cup. All right. Don't forget Wednesday night, 8 p.m., a very special Sports Corner special Steeler preseason. We're going to talk about the games, the schedule, the roster, who we think could be on a 53-man roster, what needs, what has to be done, what the quarterback battle could be. And I have a great panel coming on. Luther Dupree from Steel City Sports World, Claudio Rosano, and the boxing authorities as well. Claudio Rosano, the same. Smoking Jim Frazier, the same. And Smoking Jim is also my co-host for my new show, Talking Wrestling and Sports Corner on PCTV, Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable. And also on my wrestling show, which is on 8 p.m. on Thursday nights, Wrestle Talk with myself and Smoking Jim Frazier, Mark Mancini producing Mancini Media in Los Angeles, and contributor Clayton Trudor. He comes on once in a while and he contributes to the show. Wrestle Talk. Around the country, it's big, it's coming up, it's moving. Everybody loves it. We'll talk about WWE and a whole lot more coming up on Wrestle Talk. on 8 p.m. Thursday night. 347-205-9631 is the number to listen to the show on your phone. All right. Instead of listening and watching that other stuff, watch and listen to my shows, my broadcast. Everybody, I want everybody to have a good night and be safe. And that is the way I see it tonight. Good night.